Alright, so what I'm going to tell you is top secret. No one else can know about this. Absolutely no one. But I believe in about 2019, 2018, I and 2 or 3 other friends began to work on a place known as the Purple Palace, which would be known as a strip club in Minecraft. What I didn't account for was it going as far as it did. From the outside, it looks completely normal. Except a little shitty because we weren't the best at building. It might need an entire overhaul out here. As you go inside, nothing really changes. It still looks relatively normal. Except, has a pool even. Has a bar, separate room. Has the poles, which you can even access as a person by walking over here. You don't need creative mode. And it's got the managerial quarters. Everything behind the scenes. It's got the drink barrels. It's got the big man's chair. With a chest full of treasures, if you will. Now, what had happened was, I had decided to go deeper. With a separate friend. Separate from the original group of the Purple Palace. So above the ground, it is just a strip club with a bar. But below the ground, anything goes. This project started simply as a weed farm just because I thought it would be funny to build in Minecraft. That's it, just a weed farm. But we kept going deeper and deeper. And throughout these events, I would try to tell you what we built in chronological order. So it started with the palace above and then the weed farm. Over here, we had to boot it up in Educational Edition. Because what we started on next would be a meth lab. Nothing but pure crystal. Run by villagers who haven't seen the sun in years, maybe. But they get the job done nonetheless. But also over here we got the storage room for what the farm has grown also in that time. Next in line would be something significantly more controversial, in my opinion. Behind the weed farm, we get into a little area that only a dumb 16, 17-year-old would build. Now, what do these buttons do? I say it's pretty simple. This is wired up by that separate friend who will not be named for terms like this. You press a button, and it spawns these big-nosed people. Press another button, and the gas falls. This is wired up so you can press this button for millennia, if you will. For eons and eons. You'll never run out. Like I said, much worse than the meth lab. And what we had built next, I wouldn't say it'd be as controversial, but it would not be pleasant. What was built next would be a Alabama memorial, even. Here we have a cotton farm made with lily of the valleys, and some villagers who, again, may not have seen the sun, may not have seen the real sun for quite some time, and the iron golem who watches over them. The big scary white man, if you will. They look a little more educated than what they would have during that time period, but that no matter. Anyone who walks outside will still see the sun before they do. Let's see what was next. Oh, I remember what was next. So, on a much lighter note, me and this friend were having a conversation about the upbringing of the Doomslayer and how he started his rampage simply for a rabbit. Now, in this very incredibly designed in the room. We have a fake portal. Doesn't matter. Well, here's the real attraction over here. Another device, it seems. What does it do, you may ask? You press this button, and it takes a minute to kick and takes a minute to progress, but it sends 2 to 3 rabbits to their doom. And sometimes they won't even make it that far, they'll just drown right there. The slower death, but probably the less painful death in my opinion. The next build would be something something religious in taste. Something truly you feel the power when it's around. Something that took quite a while. Something satanic, even. We got they're just hanging around. We got the attendants, if you will. It's even got a fish tank in the back, and it's got some very stylish decorations, which we worked so hard for. And I don't know what these books say. Ah, that sounds just about right. With these nice red candles and this empty fish tank, seemingly harmless, I believe. The next build would be something nuclear. Nuclear in taste. A room that would have to be kept secret from even the United States government. Had this take place in the United States. The bomb room. Like I said, this is not your average Minecraft strip club. I do not know when these builds will finish. I don't know if they'll ever be done. With the new update to Minecraft, with the extra 50 levels of ground under 0, I may never stop. My ideas may just keep running and running. Let me see if I can remember what the next build was. Let's see, we went through everything. That quadrant, yes. That quadrant and that quadrant. I think we're down to the last 2, but I do have the piece of resistance for last. So you stop through here, you know, you're worshiping, and maybe you get a little hungry. Maybe you just get a tad hungry. It's time for lunch, you know? You already see the blue skies, you walk through the hallways, and you come to a McDonald's. Well, we're to work here, we're simply children, but now they have grown, becoming the managers of this fine establishment, never leaving, never breathing, never seeing the sun. And before I show you this final build, I'm going to give some background to the situation. Me and this friend had worked at this establishment for many a month. Many a month. And one day we decided, how funny would it be if we built this establishment in this epical block game. But instead of building it like we built the McDonald's, where it just resembled slightly a McDonald's, no, we built this to a T. And we completed this build to a T. And we didn't stop until every single thing was perfect. And we did this after we had quit, so we had to do all of this by memory. And I will describe everything to you. All but the name and the location of the place. It was a pizza establishment set up in the early 80s with the weather of, I'm pretty sure that's just Alabama weather. I don't think anyone's going to find it through that alone. But it was a pizza establishment set up in the late 80s with several tables and booths, which all had a little pizza holder to put a platter of pizza upon and let it rest. all of these tables would have at least one, except for this one, because it was stolen by me. I took it home. I put it in my truck. I don't have it anymore, it's gone. And over here we had 2 child seats that never really moved too often. But they were there, and they were quite brown. And we had 2 gumball machines. We asked to take them home just for the humor value of it. But they were rentals. But the rental company just never came back to get them, and they were quite yellow and disgusting looking. Upon the border of the dirt here, it had a brick texture or a brick little wallpaper thing going on, but it was not real bricks. No, it was just paper. Just paper. And among all of them, except for this one, there was some kind of framed item depending on what holiday was closest. We had to improvise. Sorry. We had a trash can here and a black sign that showed what kind of specials we had going. For what price even. And we had this, which would hold bags of chips and other goods assorted for the customer to grab and take to the register right here. Over here we had a cooler that held drinks like lemonade, water, and just things like tea, water-based drinks that you would keep in a cooler. We had here. Over here we had the Coke machine. It had drinks like Dr. Pepper, Sprite, I believe, Coke, but 9 times out of 10 you were coming up here, one of them was out of order because we didn't have it, simply. And you come here, we had this one corner, you could just sit anything here, even. You sat anything here and you were good to go. Nothing sat here though, which is the scary thing. So we take you back here, and we had the 2 bathrooms, unlabeled might I add. We had the women's restroom, which did look quite nice from the times I had to clean it. And the men's restroom, which had a very large water heater that took up all of the room, and it was always dark in here. Moving on. Moving on. We had another trash can bin right here, along with a station where you would set up the pizzas and various sandwiches that would come across, and we had the oven which you would make the pizza first through here or the sandwich through here. Depending on what it was, you would take it and put it through the top or the bottom. The sandwiches went to the top and the pizzas went to the bottom. That's just how it went. And we had a very large trash can right here with 2 microwaves and pizza disc racks that went right here. The white microwave was on top and the black microwave was on bottom. The white microwave was on top because the white microwave always had problems with breaking down. Over here, we had a little bucket to put ice in from right here and take it to the top of the Coke machine and put it up here into the Coke machine so ice could be dispensed out of it. It was also never cleaned. Going back here, we had a dark room which would serve as a storage room. This is where, if you've ever worked at like a fast food establishment, all of the drink bags, boxes would be placed and they would have wires or cords carried into the drink machine. Like I said, we always had something missing. Here's where the sinks were, where you would wash the dishes, and you would put them somewhere above here just for convenience. And we had a walk-in cooler that simply carried nothing but the finest of ingredients. The finest of ingredients. And it was never really secure. The iron doors was there, for example. We had these shelves here. And it was always pitch black up here and dark everywhere else. We had 2 freezers right here. This would be for like the meats and stuff, and this would be for like the breads and the as well as some other things that didn't really fit right there, but we had a broken down refrigerator right here that also quite sat there for time to pass. And here we had the dark of the night where you had to take out the trash can, or take out the trash at night, take it to the dumpster outside, and you had no idea what you were going to find. Because there were Mexicans that lived across the street and they were probably in the cartel. All in all, everything here adds up and is built to a T to what me and this friend had to experience together. And with that, I bid you a good night. Thank you.